So, welcome, Karen. Let me
Deeper.
introduce Karen. Karen Selmanson has au- uh, uh, been on Substack for a while, but she's the author of the book, which is a very interesting name. Wait for it. Year to Die for Life: How to Maximize Your Joy, Minimize Your Regrets Before Your Time Runs Out. That's brilliant title.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a
Uh,
book about death, but it's really about life. It's really about
yes.
how to live a meaningful life, but how embracing the fact that our lives are finite actually helps you to live more boldly and deeply and meaningfully and all of that. So,
Oh, wonderful. I'm going to drill you for the book, but first I want to know more about you. So tell us, Karen, when did you join Substack? Were you an author before you joined Substack, or did you become author afterwards? And tell us your story. Tell from the
sure.
beginning.
What's interesting is that a lot of people don't know my background, which just shows you the beauty of Substack, by the way.
Mm-hmm,
And that's why I tell my
mm-hmm,
clients join Substack because you
mm-hmm,
don't know that I've been an author. I actually love that. You just know me from my writing on Substack, I guess.
mm-hmm,
But oh, I am 65 years old and I've been an author of books since I quit my job in advertising when I was about 30. So I've been writing books for 35 years and I've had a
wow.
bunch of sellers and altogether I've sold over 2 million books and
Mm-hmm,
I write on different topics, but specifically I create what I jokingly call self-help for people who wouldn't be caught dead doing self-help. That because I add the humor and
mm-hmm,
some of my books have a strong design element. And one of my first of this kind was a book that I did called How to Be Happy, Damn It, which I
mm-hmm.
did back in the 1990s before people put curse words in book titles. So I actually kind of like to say that I'm one of the first people to put curse words in book titles. Now, the word damn it looks tame next to other books that have, naughty words in book titles. But that was one of my first of my self-help for people who wouldn't be caught dead doing self-help. Are you there? Did I lose you? Oops. Is it just me? Oh no. Should I just keep talking? Well, if you've met my son or my partner, they would say that would not be a problem. So I guess I can just keep talking. But I feel weird because you're not here. I guess everybody else is still here. Okay. Um, I could tell you more. Uh, but I want to make sure that I just feel odd that my host isn't here to interview me. I could self-interview me. Um, so Karen, what made you decide to write Your to Die for Life? Okay, well, I wrote my newest book on mortality awareness, although I feel weird talking because you're not here, but I will. I will. I wrote my newest book, Your to Die for Life, for a couple of reasons. One of them is a little bit more quirky, funny, and one of them sad. So I'll start with a quirky, funny one. I didn't write my book about death because I had a near death experience. I wrote it because I had a near life experience. I realized that I was having too many near life experiences, which is, I think, something that a lot of us do where we're not fully in our lives, we're near our lives. Like we'll be scrolling through our phone. And so we're like life adjacent. We're not like really in it. Or we'll be out to dinner with somebody and our mind will be elsewhere. We'll be worrying about something in the future or, thinking about something from the past. And then again, we're not fully in our lives. Oh, you're back. Hi. I didn't know what to do. So I just kept talking.
I don't know what happened. I'm so glad you kept talking. I'm not sure what happened. I just, um,
It's okay.
I was touching, there was a messages coming and I was making them go away
Ah,
and somehow it disappeared from my screen and I just kept on looking frantically,
Okay.
where can I go?
It was
No,
a challenge. So I just felt bad and I didn't know if you were gonna come back and if I should pause. But I just told everyone who was listening why
Mhm.
I wrote my book, You're to Die for a Life, because I figured you'd ask me that next. But I told them
Yes.
for the cute, funny reason, and now I'm about to tell the sad reason why I wrote my book.
Yeah, I was going to get to that sad reason because I read that and I can it resonates with me. I'll let you tell your story and then I'll
Uh,
tell you why it resonates with me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
I wrote it because my dad died. And when he died, that's what woke me up to the fact that I was having near life experiences. Like, um,
Mhm.
I say that death makes an excellent alarm clock and
Mhm.
woke me up to realizing all the different ways that I was kind of, not living fully and boldly. And
Mhm.
I gave my dad's eulogy. And after I gave his eulogy, I thought, about how you can sum up someone's life and just like that. And then I started thinking, what would my eulogy be? And then I did
Mhm.
the exercise of writing my eulogy, but an aspirational one, not the one
Mhm.
that would happen if, something
Mm.
happened immediately, but giving myself room to grow into
Yes.
my eulogy. And
Mhm.
then I started to keep updating that and using that. And then I started researching mortality awareness and the power of it. And it turns out the more that you live
Mhm.
embracing the finite nature of your life, that you
Mhm.
realize we're here and then we're not, and it's up to us to make the here part as meaningful as possible, the better your life becomes. So, mortality awareness doesn't depress you, it can actually make you feel more alive. And
Yeah.
that's why I decided to write my book. And I went into like whole research about this and I researched the top regrets of the dying. And then I reverse engineered each one to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that I don't die with
Mhm.
some of the top regrets of the dying? And then I realized
Mhm.
what I have to do. And it's all in the book. And you can also ask me, but that's sort of the summary of
Wow.
how I wrote this book.
Wow. You know what? This exact thing happened to me. You wouldn't
Oh,
believe it. And that's why when I read that line in your post, one of the posts or about, I don't remember where I read it, where you said that I wrote this book when my dad passed away. What was happening with me? Also wanted to write for a long time. But I had no confidence in my writing. I didn't like my writing. I thought I was so bad at it. And in the actual sense, I was bad at it. But I wanted to get good. I had this passion for it, reading and then writing. And I was trying to write. I had few blog posts with anonymous because I wasn't willing enough to put my name on it. I didn't want to claim what I was writing. And
yeah.
then dad passed away.
Ah, ha, 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 ha.
And my dad passed away on the same day, during the day, before I went and visit him in the nursing home. And he virtually died within 2 hours. Um, I was
Oh,
there. I I had decided, okay, how long I'm going to keep postponing owning my passion, my desire. So I bought a domain name with my name on that date. It was
yeah.
27th of July,
Mm.
2019, 2018. And I went and visited my dad. He passed away. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me how infinite or finite the life is.
Yes.
And, and here he was a minute ago, and he's gone. And I just couldn't fathom it. And next few days was grief and different stages of dealing with the stuff you deal with after someone loved one passed away and all that happened. And during that time I was journaling my thoughts, my feelings a lot. I have been journaling for a long time. And when I done that, I went back to that, when you create a WordPress site, it
Uh-huh.
automatically creates a post on that day, the day you create. It's called Hello World.
Okay,
And
yes,
I
yes.
changed that Hello World post into why I'm writing this blog, why I started blog. And I wrote the story there, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do in honor of my parents, my dad and my mom, because they both were teacher and they installed this love of learning within me. And I was dedicating this second phase of my life, which is predominantly writing, to them. So that is your story, and this is my story. And exactly like you, I have read the book Five Regrets of the People, and I didn't want that regrets. I have written my eulogy in my writing groups, which had been meeting in my home for 15 years. And I was we one of the exercise we all did was to write our eulogy. Sadly, two of the members have already passed away, and on
Ah,
one member's funeral, they read the same eulogy she wrote for herself. Her daughter read it out,
oh, that's
and this is
beautiful.
how powerful these things are. And I believe that there was a writer and whose book I really really loved. In that book, he have an exercise in which he said, organize your funeral while you're alive, and
Yes,
invite people what
it's a
they
living funeral. I actually that was one of my very first Substack articles
oh
was about living funeral. I joined Substack about 1 year ago. I've only been up for 1
mhm,
year,
mhm,
and that was one of the first ones that I wrote, and people do that. And
mhm,
I want people to write their eulogy in my book. I have, because people, like, sometimes think, "Well, where do you begin?" So what I did
mhm,
was I created a fill in the blank, like a Mad Libs type template where you just fill in
mhm,
the blank for your eulogy,
mhm,
and then a little spoiler alert, a lot of the blanks have to do with core values, because
mhm,
one of the main things that I try to tell people in my book and in my coaching is
mhm.
that, at your funeral,
Mhm.
nobody's gonna read your LinkedIn profile.
No.
Nobody's
Mhm,
gonna print out your Google Calendar and pass it around the room and go, "Look how productive she was," you know? What they're
mhm.
gonna do is they're gonna tell stories about you,
Yeah.
and the stories are gonna have core values in them. They're gonna say, "Oh, she was so kind. I remembered the time she did this," or "She was such a great listener. I remembered the time that blah, 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 blah." And
Mhm,
different core values and stories about you.
mhm,
So
mhm,
what I do is I try to awaken people to
mm,
live who they say that they are with the core values. And when I've reverse engineered the top regrets of the dying, I
mm,
realized that there are 7 core values in particular that if you embrace them, it's like slathering yourself with regret resistant sealants. They will keep a lot of the top regrets away. And if
mhm,
you want,
mhm.
I can just tell you what some of those 7
Sure,
core values.
I would love to know that. I would love to know those. Yes,
So
please.
they're all based in the top regrets, and not just the book, but I interviewed other death doulas and that type
Mhm,
of thing. And they go in alphabetical order, so they're easy to remember, except for one didn't fit in the alphabet. So I had to like add an adjective in front of it to squish it in there, and it
mhm,
worked. But the
mhm,
first one is A is for authentic,
mhm,
because so many people get to the end of their lives and they're like, I wish I'd lived more true to myself. I wish I had expressed myself more, openly, So the first one is A for authentic. B
mhm,
is
mhm,
brave because,
mhm,
you really need to get out of your comfort zone if you're going to live your best life and stretch
mhm,
yourself and growing. A lot of philosophies on that in the book. So B is
mhm,
brave. C is curious. And you might be
mhm,
curious why I have curious, but that
mhm,
one's really important because I believe one of the top reasons why we're here is to learn lessons that help us to grow into our best selves. And
mhm,
curious helps you to stop saying, why me? And start saying, why me? Or what did I learn from this? And to get curious about it because we repeat what we don't repair. So, and also being curious helps to create awe, and awe
yeah.
helps you to feel happier. So
Yes.
that's ABC. D is discerning because
Mhm,
a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I don't have time to do this or that, like the important things, the meaningful things. And the
Mm-hmm.
time to is sort of like the adult equivalent of the dog ate my homework because
Yeah.
you do have time. Your life is
Mm-hmm.
just cluttered up with things that don't really matter. So you have to be discerning. And so I help people to do life audits. And I'll try to get through them quickly. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to get through all of them real quickly. E is the one I squished an adjective in front of it. E is empathic loving. Okay. And I had to put E on to make it in alphabetical, but I actually think it makes the word love more the type of love that I want to
Yeah.
talk. I didn't want to
Yes.
just
I think it's
describe,
a
yeah,
perfect adjective.
right? So it's not like the sexy, it's like empathic love with strangers, with your colleagues, your dog, your kids, your parents, your neighbors, your community,
Mm-hmm.
people online, all of that. F
Mm-hmm.
is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's big because one of the top regrets of the dying is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. So
Yes.
fun is a core value, and I want people to embrace that. And then G is the last one, and that's grateful. And that's how you get
Mm-hmm.
through the hard times, the good times, is to just look around and remember what you're grateful for. And those are the seven core values. And there are other ones that you can use, but that's like the starter up kit for living a
Yeah.
meaningful life.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. I love them already. And do you have your book handy? I want to show
Oh,
uh,
no,
if it is.
I don't.
I wanted to show it to people to have a look. Go and get that book. It's
Oh, thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
It's
It's
called Your to Die for Life, and I have a whole website called yourtodieforlife.com, and they can
yeah.
see it there, and I have, before there was Substack, there was my blog on that site, so I have articles there. I have some freebies there. I have,
Mhm,
um I have, an end of life planner called Over
mhm,
My Dead Body, where it
mhm,
helps you to just really embrace that your
mhm,
life is finite and also do the loving act of setting up your philosophies and wants, for when you pass, so your loved ones don't have to guess. So, I
mm.
and I and the way I write is I kinda try to make it fun, even if it's a topic like death, so
You
it
have
makes
to.
you have to,
Yeah.
so it's more approachable. So I have that there and some other things. So yourtodieforlife.com has all of
Or
that on.
someone given the link there. That's good. Thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you.
Heart centered connections. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's well, lovely. Um, I just want to add another element in this chat. You may or may not be aware of that my Substack is called Author Circle, and I'm helping people to write their books and turn them into a business.
It's
And
beautiful.
you have been in the writing business for a long time, 30 plus years, and you have turned your books, particularly this book, into business. So tell us about your journey of turning your book into business, because you got courses, you speak, you write Substack, you have a paid subscription model as well. So can you walk us through first of all, how did you start? How did it
Mhm.
started, and where has it led for you so far?
Okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, my first published book was a novel, so that's
Mm-hmm.
different. And and I sold that to Miramax to be a movie starring Marissa Tomei in an unusual way, which I think is an important quick story I'll tell, which is when the novel first came out through St. Martin's Press, my agent was just a book agent and he wanted to try to represent it to sell to the movies, but he didn't have any contacts there yet. But I was so grateful that he sold my first book to St. Martin's Press. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, try to sell it to Hollywood. And he tried for about a year and he couldn't do it. So he said, okay, let's get us a real film agent. So we got the new film agent, and the film agent said, okay, I like your writing, but you know what? Your book is 1 year old, and that means it's stale. After what? So write
Wow.
something. But I didn't want to hear that. Write something new. This is my novel. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept calling him up and saying, why don't we send it to this actress? Why don't we send it to this director? And he kept saying, write something new, write something new. this is how I sold my book to Miramax. I
Mm,
saw that Marissa Tomei was performing at a theater in New York, and I just wrote a note to Marissa,
mhm,
took my
mhm,
book, put it in
mhm,
a manila envelope, brought it over to the ticket booth, like where you
mhm,
buy it to go see the play, and said, "Could
mhm,
you please pass this on to Marissa Tomei?"
mhm.
And my friends thought that I was like crazy optimistic, and all of that,
Yeah.
and they kinda teased me about it. Couple
Mhm,
months later, the phone rings early in the morning, and someone's on the other line, and they're
mhm.
saying, "Hi, this is Marissa Tomei. I read your novel, and I really loved it." And my first thought was, "This is one of my friends teasing me. They're
Yeah.
playing like an obnoxious joke on me." And I remember I was chewing a bagel, and I thought, "Do I bother to stop chewing my bagel in this very obnoxious friend's ear?" And then I
Mhm.
thought, just in case it happens to be the real Marissa Tomei, I will stop chewing. And it was the real Marissa Tomei.
Oh my
And then
God.
she brought the novel to Miramax, and then it got optioned, and it didn't get greenlit, but then they hired me to write some TV show ideas and work with them, and so I was in the Miramax family for a little bit, but,
Mhm.
but you have to do things that are a little outside of the box,
Yeah.
and
Mhm,
I got blurbs that way, testimonials are big, I would just write to people, even for my newest book, Your To Die for Life, I love
mhm,
the author, Jenny Lawson, who's on here. Don't
mhm.
know, love her, and I just wrote an email, and she answered and gave me a testimonial blurb for the book, which is on the
Yep.
cover. So you have to be daring.
Mhm,
You have to be
mhm,
B for brave, the second core
mhm.
value down, and
Yes.
just go for it. And a lot of the things that have happened in my life with my career are because I did like the outrageous, outside of the
Mm,
box, and that's
mhm,
one of the
mm,
things I would say to people.
mhm. So that's for the fiction side. Have you written non-fiction books, or this your To Die for Life is your first non-fiction?
Oh my gosh, no. I so after and by the way, I love and I'm gonna tell you, everybody that's on here, this goes to show that I mean, I love that you just know me as a new writer because I've only been on for a year. And
Mhm,
I love this. It just shows Substack is great like this. It's like
mm,
if I respond to your writing, I love you and I want to read more. It doesn't matter what your background is. And
mhm.
I've met so many people on here that are new writers that I think are freaking brilliant. And I'm glad to meet you. And here that I'm on with you, I was like, I just want to meet cool, interesting, smart, creative, talented people. And
Yeah.
Substack is for that. But
Substack
behind
is wonderful
it's
for that.
great. And it's an
Mm,
equalizer. It doesn't matter how many books you
mm, mm, mm,
but, the reality is I've sold a lot of books.
mhm,
I have sold fiction. I've had a couple best-selling books. That's how I got up to
mhm,
selling 2,000,000 books. I've written,
mm,
and I was always, like, a little feisty. So,
mm,
I wrote a business book. Oh my god. Back in the 1990s, because again, I'm ancient, I'm 65, with the crazy title of how to Succeed in Business Without a Penis, and it was for women, and I said the title as a joke to my agent, she goes, "Let's do that as a book." And,
mm.
it wound up being loved by are you ready?
Mhm.
Madonna,
Oh my
uh,
God.
Madonna, and I have a crazy story about Madonna. A lot of the little things that were lift-offs from my books were
Mhm,
because of crazy stories, like how I met Madonna, Ariana
mhm,
Huffington, Donna Karan, like a lot of women just wound up loving and then it was a
mm,
huge best-selling book. And one of the
mhm,
principles of the book was a woman doesn't need a penis to succeed, just balls which is
mm,
the other thing you need to become a
mm,
successful author. And then the publishing house sent me all around the world. I couldn't even believe because the title was a little bit, outrageous, especially for the 1990s. But I went to so many different countries doing what
mm,
I jokingly called behind the scenes, and I'm sorry, but seminars as a joke because I'm supposedly funny. Um, and it just the book sold off that one sold like about 250,000 copies just for that book alone.
wow, wow.
So and then I've written other of these
Mm,
self-help I've written a book called The Bounce Back Book, which has a red rubber
mhm,
cover outside and inside resiliency psychology. I've been a columnist for Oprah and Psychology Today. And I've written a lot. I've written kids' books,
Yeah, yeah,
every
I
kind.
got it here. You are on Today's Show. You have written for New York Times, Ellie, The New Yorker, and there's a whole list. I couldn't just copy all them, but yeah.
Yeah, I've
So,
been around for a
so,
while.
so the books you have written, they have generated for you the keynote speeches. Have you? Is
Yes.
that the part?
So
Yeah.
everything
Mm,
is, like who was it? The painter that said, "This is not a pipe," like, and he has like Magritte or whatever it is. This is not a pipe. Well, if I had my book, I go, "This is not a book. The
mm,
book is a movie deal. It's a speaking deal. It's coaching. It's, so
coaching.
many different things. It's not
Mhm,
just a book. A book is not
mhm,
just it
mm.
is, and
Book is
it's a
just the
business.
beginning.
What?
Book is just
Just
the beginning. It's organizing your thoughts in a coherent manner so that
Yeah.
other people can understand it, and then everything flows through that.
It's like a platform and like an author
Yeah.
platform. And coming from my background, which was in advertising, I think
Mm-hmm.
I sort of understood how to build a platform around
Mm-hmm.
myself. And in fact, that happened with my first book. I forgot about this story. I forgot about this. And this is important, but it's the
Yes,
lens on
please
how you
tell
do it.
that story.
Okay. Well, my first book was a novel, and it was called 50% Off as a joke,
Mm-hmm.
but it was about a girl in advertising, but she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't me because the girl in the book had blue eyes and I have brown eyes. So definitely not. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I mean, she was kind of like an exaggerated, it was like me on three margaritas. She was like much more, out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I got invited on a morning show here in New York
Mm-hmm.
many years ago, and I they interviewed me about the book, and afterwards the book was about love in the age of packaging. So afterwards, I said to them, "Hey, you know, my book is about love. If you want anybody who to talk about other topics about love, because it wasn't a nonfiction book, it was a fiction book. But I saw that they had different nonfiction authors on. But I figured if you're a fiction author, they can only have you on once. But I realized that my book was about love. So I said, I can talk about all kinds of love. My book is about love. And then the next thing I know, like 3 days later, they called me and they go, "We had an expert about love cancel. Can you talk about whether or not you should date, somebody who's your, opposite sex but best friend, like a When Harry Met Sally thing?" I said,
Yes. Yeah.
"Absolutely, I have a lot to say on that." And then they called me in, and then they started me having on their show all the time because even though it was a novel, I found the nonfiction element in it, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just having me on all the time. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to present yourself to that. Find what the platform is in your book and own
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yes. Yes.
So then it works for fiction as well as nonfiction, is what that
Mm-hmm.
is about.
Yeah. And how would you say to people who are not that brave and want to build the bee in their life? How would you want them to go and reach out for this kind of speaking
Yeah.
engagement or talking about your books and things like that?
Well, first of all, that's where mortality awareness comes in because as soon as you're aware that life is finite, instead of being afraid of making the phone call or sending the email, you become more afraid of dying, not living a brave life,
Mm-hmm.
and that you want to be brave. And I do recommend, because a lot of my books are about psychology and behavioral change, that you do the following. This is in my book, Your to Die for Life. You create an I am and so I do statement to remind yourself that you want to be brave. You write, I am brave and so I. And then you write down, call
Mm-hmm.
this person, send that email. That even happened after I wrote How to Succeed in Business Without a Penis. And I say, woman doesn't need a penis to succeed, just balls. The publishing house asked me to write a second business book called Ballsy. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote Ballsy, and then they said, go get testimonials. So I was thinking of just calling up some people I know, but then I was looking at my own cover and it
mm,
said ballsy on the cover. And I thought,
mm,
wait a minute, I'm ballsy. Like it reminded me of one of my core values. And what
mhm,
happens is if you know what your core values are and you don't act on it, it creates cognitive dissonance. You're like, wait a minute, I'm ballsy. So you know what I did? After I looked at my own cover that said ballsy, I
mhm,
wrote an email to Seth Godin, who I've always loved from afar. Don't know him from anybody. I just wrote,
mhm.
"Hi, Seth, blah, 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 blah." The next thing I know, he responded, he gave me a blurb, and we had coffee in Starbucks. And we stayed friends. So, this is what I'm talking about. Just by reminding myself that my core value, brave or ballsy, I guess ballsy is the ballsier form of brave because you're saying ballsy instead of brave. Um, but that's what happens. You have to drill it into your head that you are brave, you are ballsy, and then go do the thing.
You killing me. You know what? I have written one of my 10 things, ballsy things to do. One of
Uh-huh.
them is to interview Said Godin.
Oh, well, then you got
That's
to
in
reach
my
out
list.
to them.
I just need to reach out to him. And I also need a blurb or testimony for my book. So I'm going to reach out to him. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens. Let's see
Okay.
what happens.
But make
Yeah.
sure you reach out. Okay, so then I'll say this. You have to, when you reach out to somebody, your first opening sentences or two have to let them know why you love them. And that,
Hmm.
don't just ask right away for what you want.
Hmm.
Let's
Hmm.
make that emotional connection, like something
Hmm.
that shows, oh, this person really does love my stuff, connects with me. You have to start that way. And then
Hmm.
move
I have a
into
perfect story
what?
for that. For 2 years, I listened to every interview of Seth Godin, every free YouTube video, and let them put me on sleep and kept on listening to it in my sleep so that I can internalize his messages.
Okay, and now I'm gonna say something else. I think that's great. I wanna tell you something else, and I don't know how to say this, but, I mean, this is what I want you to try to think about, where
Mm,
you let them know that you absolutely respect them and that you're a
mhm.
true, you know, uh, reader
Follower,
and
reader. Hmm.
devourer, but you sound too much, and I don't know how to say this right, Lisa, I'm gonna just try to I'll just blurt it. You
Mm.
can't sound too much like um, an incredible fan that they're scared of you.
That is, you are a stalker. I
It
get
sounds
that.
like, "I read everything. I sleep with your book under my pillow." No, 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 no.
Well, that was actually true. There is another author which I have done like this, and that was Austin Kleon. Because Austin Kleon was the author who actually gave me permission to be bad and still continue to write. And he
Good.
has done that for a whole lot of people. Means his book, How to See Like an Artist, is, I think that book gave permission to so many people to follow their passion and be good at it
Great.
eventually.
Yes. Yes.
And 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 same thing about I learned marketing from Seth Godin because he was completely different from what other people were saying.
Yes.
And he's being purple cow and being different. This is what you are talking about eventually here. So good point. I will
Yeah.
not stalk him. And
Well, just not talking, but just, like, make it, like, not just what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
yes, I do.
Um,
I do. I do.
but
I'm joking.
yeah.
But yes, this is so good. I think we can continue for another hour. I normally keep my lives for 30 minutes, respecting everybody's time. But I think, Karen, I need to have you again. We will talk again. So I'll get in touch. We'll organize another live.
I love
Uh,
also talking about branding and marketing and, social media because I love all of this, so
mhm,
I mean, I do. And if you don't, I mean, that's what something I might even say. If you don't think of it like marketing, you feel like
mhm,
it's fun and it helps you to connect with people and the people that you meet. And like you change your attitude about what it means. It's not promotion, it's sharing something you're really excited about and you can't wait to share it with people. Like that's kind of how I felt when I wrote Your to Die for Life. It's like, oh, I want
Yeah.
people to have this information. And if you
Mm,
come at it with that kind of excitement
mm.
and
Yes.
exuberance,
Beautiful word.
then it's not marketing. It's like
Mm.
I get to share it and people can feel,
Yes.
and that's kind of how I
Yes. Love it. Love it. Because I think that's what is stopping so many people from sharing their work. Because it is the marketing word, which is fine for the tangible things and the materialistic thing. What we are talking about, books are something super. They're ideas, they're uh, internal feelings, they are stories, they are something which is much much higher than the materialistic word, and we are applying the concepts of there to books. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for authors, and that's why most of the authors are not being able to present their ideas with the exuberance, the word you have just used, because they don't like marketing. They don't like the word marketing, they don't like the word sales. And that is what we will talk about in our next
okay.
live.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so all the listener, this video is being recorded, and I will put it together with some notes, and it will appear in mine and as well as Karen's Substack. You can listen to it again. I think there is a lot of good information already in here, but we will do another live. And my mission in life is to help as many people as possible to write their books and earn money from it in the ways that um, excites them, that makes them happy and passionate about what they are doing and what they have done with their books. We have just finished a cohort. I've just finished my first cohort, in which 6 people have written the first draft of their book in 30 days.
That's great.
And next one is starting in March. So anybody who is interested, please come and contact me. It is starting from the 5th of March. 30 days, you will have your first draft of your manuscript in your hand. My framework works. It has just been proved by another set of people. I've run these programs before as well. And I will have authors like Karen and many others I'm interviewing every week to help you with your book and to help you put your message out. So here we are. Thank you very much, Karen, for your
Oh, thank
time.
you for inviting me. Thank
And
you.
thank you, all of these 45 people who have stuck with us, stayed with us for half an hour, a quarter, three-fourths of an hour, 45 minutes. So lovely. Thank you very much, everyone. And
Thank you.
see you again. Bye.
Thank you.